Are Bastilodons with the Ark of Sotek any good in patch 5.1? This went through a new version quite some time ago, but both versions were such a big deal in my old Tehenhauin campaigns I was practically married to them. So let's go over my heavily armored waifu and show off how it's still the hotness for smiting foes of the Great Plan. Recruited for 1000 gold and 250 upkeep, same as basic Kroq-Gars and the large bump up from feral Bastilodons. The titular Bastilodon with the Ark of Sotek attached comes with 7,730 health on Ultra unit scale, very slightly more, but retains 140 armor, 15% missile resistance, 65 leadership or 5 better, speed 40, charge speed 65. Yes, some values will be familiar. Melee attack starts at 22, attack interval 3.7, medium splash target size, max targets damaged 4. Melee defense starts at 28, weapon strength 250, split between 90 base and 160 armor piercing, but a notable bonus versus infantry of 15. Charge bonus 34, which isn't nothing, and mass 4000. Better to repeat a few things than assume everyone watched the Feral Bastilodon video. In addition to being a siege attacker, causing fear and terror, having the new hotness flanking immunity, not having feral rage, which is kind of a big deal, we have two new elements. First, there is a ranged weapon. I'll put up the stats, but it will feel token. Yeah, it's token except for one rather big deal. Every hit by one of these projectiles inflicts or renews poison on the foe, the normal kind. This is a very busy debuff that can hugely help if the Bastilodon is in the middle of a dinosaur army without normal access to poison, or similarly, around Saurus troops normally denied it. Second, the Ark of Sotek active ability is a vortex spell around the Bastilodon, duration 28 seconds, cooldown 60 seconds. The ability does not affect friendly troops whatsoever. Upon enemies, it inflicts Sotek's poison, which is a damage over time effect that inflicts damage that changes depending on which unit scale you're using, but it'll be 10 damage on Ultra scale. The visual effect, at least, stays where the Bastilodon first uses it. The poison lasts for 8 seconds, but that's from the last proc, so in theory, you could get 36 seconds of poison out of it. I don't have the complete story math-wise, but the bottom line is that this is a Morris Engine style effect on a cooldown with no limit on the number of uses per battle. The in-game card says effective against units with 25 or more entities. This is the usual indicator that 25 entities are taking direct damage at any given time. It's not that this is instantly devastating, but remember, it's being used by a Bastilodon, a living bastion, and it's going to stay standing against most opponents well into the fight. It has time for Skaven to die all around it. More to the point, this isn't limited by the comparatively tiny 4 maximum entities damaged by a splash attack, and since it's direct damage these days, armor is meaningless against it. The bottom line is that the Ark of Sotek bound ability is fantastic against virtually any infantry and higher model cavalry. It isn't an I win button by itself, but it hurts and it adds up. This is also to say that if you are fighting a Primeval Glory army or another single entity based force, the ability is basically meaningless and useless, and the Bastilodon's bonus versus infantry won't help it out at that point. In all other circumstances, it may not get anywhere near the same focus, but the auto-fire of poison javelins from the top of the beast provide an easy, worry-free source of normal poison throughout the battle. The Bastilodon is hard enough to kill without the enemy also being poisoned, and even in an army not based on infantry, your Carnosaurs will deeply appreciate weakened targets, less able to tear into their softer and less bony hides, while the Carnosaurs feast. So, the Ark of Sotek Bastilodon has synergy with a surprisingly wide amount of your force. I'm going to leave the redline skills and tech tree buffs for my Feral Bastilodon video. Just keep in mind the boosts are basically all defensive or damaged. Not like that's a bad thing, just making it clear that the Bastilodon is a wonderful tank in the RPG sense, not a gun on 4 legs. Work around that fact, and you will prosper. Take care, and have fun making Skaven choke on rat poison.